So yeah, we seem to be on the verge of the takeover being officially announced. The journalist tone in the last 24, 36 hours has definitely changed from one of optimism to one of near certainty that this is now going to happen. Apparently the Premier League checks have been completed and it's just a case now of transferring money. Once that money's transferred, Newcastle United will have been sold. And to me it all feels a bit odd. It feels so un-Newcastle-like, but at the same time typical Newcastle as well. Here's what I mean. Number one, the fact that this deal hasn't actually fallen through. We've had so many times where we thought it was going to happen and then it didn't happen. 3 years ago with Amanda Staveley, it happened. It happened last year. All through the summer we thought we were going to be taken over and it just didn't happen. But now we are on the brink of something that's actually going to happen. Number two, the fact that this has happened without many hiccups is just incredible, really. We know that there's been a few stories out there to kind of derail it all, and there's been pressure from human rights groups and all that sort of stuff going on, but the Premier League have knocked them aside in a sense, and there's also been the talk of some of the group waiting in the wings. There's never been any serious doubt from the sources who seem to be genuinely in the know that this has been anything but a done deal for a long time. Number three, this is really on Newcastle. The buyers are loaded. They are so rich. Newcastle United, little old Newcastle United, will become the richest club in the world if this goes through. Just let that sink in for a minute. Delightful. Number four, we're actually being linked with world-class managers. And I know we had Rafa last season and we're linked with Rafa again, and that's amazing. But we're also being linked with managers from around Europe, top-class managers from around Europe. And the latest is that Pochettino is the favourite to become the Newcastle manager if the takeover does go through. And five, in a similar vein, we're being linked with world-class players as well. Now, I don't really understand how we can be linked with players when the new buyers aren't even in place yet, but just the fact that we're being linked with players like Coutinho and things like that, and the writers of those stories aren't being led away to a mental asylum, it just tells you how unbelievably un-Newcastle this is. But like I say, there are definitely some elements that are completely Newcastle. Number one, it's happening in a global pandemic. I mean, how Newcastle is that? The fact that we can't go out and celebrate this because we're not allowed is just total Newcastle. We've been waiting so long to get rid of Ashley, and yet when it does happen, we're not going to be able to celebrate it properly. Number two, on a related note, we're not going to be able to enjoy the new ownership for who knows how long. We're not actually going to be able to go and watch a game at St James's Park for, it could be months before we can do that. And the owners could well and truly be in for a long time before we even get a chance to go and watch a game live with the new owner and new manager and all that kind of stuff. Number three, people are getting really excited. And I don't know if it's just a Newcastle thing, but our supporters seem to get more excited about stuff and carried away with stuff than any other set of fans that I know. And I know most of it's just in jest and it's good fun and it's good natured and all that. But like, I've seen so many people designing kits and producing mock-ups of like the St James's Park being expanded and all that kind of stuff. That is completely Newcastle. That is just exactly what Newcastle fans are kind of famous for in a sense. Number four, we were always led to believe that a takeover would happen like that. It would just, one day we'd wake up and it would be done, dusted, Mike Ashley would be off into the sunset and we wouldn't know anything about it. Well, of course, being Newcastle, that hasn't happened. This is weeks and weeks of torture it's turning into. The only positive thing is the fact that there haven't really been any hiccups and it does look like it's going to actually happen and go through now. But it has been a long process. It hasn't been that instant kind of, oh, we've woken up or we've been sold. It just hasn't been like that at all. And that, again, is very Newcastle. I don't know any other takeovers that have been as drawn out and protracted as this. And number five, if this does happen and it does go through, then there's only one way that Newcastle fans can celebrate. Get your cans.